Early, come and eating the burritos. Be sure and get plenty of burritos. We might have one or two left over, and if you've got a coat on and you want to put some in your pockets, take some burritos with you. And so, anyhow, we're tickled to have everybody here. This is our second annual, so I'm assuming this will continue to do and maybe become something that everybody's interested in getting up and coming and doing, and so we're just we're glad to have everybody here. So I'm going to invite Basil Max up here to pray. We're me and Jay's here this morning. We're going to do a Methodist prayer. We're going to pray after we eat today. While we eat.
We should have prayed both times.
Did you say to pray for Jay?
Thank you.
Heavenly Father, we praise you and we thank you for this glorious day that you've given us. Lord, for this time that we have to come together and fellowship and minister a meal, Lord, I thank you for the meal that is nourishment to our bodies, allowing us to return service unto you. And Heavenly Father, as we come together as a community, as we come together as believers for things that you put before us, we thank you and we praise you as we step off this year, Lord, with ideas and with things, just building our community and building them for those around and about us. We thank you and we praise you for the opportunities and the freedoms that you do give us to take and pour you into this community from these individuals here, Lord, as a base, as a foundation with these, Lord. I thank you and I praise you for that, for the freedoms that you give us to live here in Bailey County, in Muleshoe, in this area, Lord, to be representatives of you. We thank you and we praise you for all that you've given us, all you have in store for us, to prosper us, to prosper this community, to prosper this town, to prosper this nation as it starts here with this group. We thank you and we praise you for it in the sweet name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. All right, we're going to have Craig come up now and give a recap of all that went on last year.
For 2016, I did serve as the chamber president. For 2017, I'm now our past president, and Mr. Friska has taken over of being president, and now I am vice president. So I just want to highlight a few things that we kind of did last year, and the great year we had, and thank all y'all for supporting us through our first year and making all of our great changes. Last breakfast, we changed our bylaws. They hadn't been changed since 1980. We want to thank you. We think we've done a great job redoing those, and we've been able to do a lot more since we've changed them. In 2016, we did display several events. In May, we hosted our National Small Business Week. In July, we hosted a spectacular 4th of July. In October, we introduced our new event, the Chili and Ice Cream Cook-Off at the Civic Center. Great event that we thought really brought the community together for fellowship and great entertainment. In November, we kicked off the season by Christmas tree lighting and Small Business Saturday. With the finishing off the year, we did do our Christmas parade. We really hope that y'all can really see that we're really dedicating to bring the chamber back to what it used to be, and we really hope we can continue to get all y'all support.
Again, I would just like to thank everyone for coming out this morning, getting up bright and early, and joining us. 2016 was a great year for us. We feel like it was very successful, and we were able to have a lot of changes and renovations with not only just the organization of the chamber, but also with our little visitor center. We have a lot of great things happening, so we're ready to hit the ground running in 2017. Like I was talking about with our visitor center, and one of the funnest things I thought this year was all of our new merchandise that we were able to put in, the caps, the t-shirts, the tumblers, just all kinds of stuff. And I would like to thank our chamber member, Evolve, for all of their help with that. I know every time Casey Coker and I come walking through the door, Trevor Turnbow cringes because we have some wild idea and he always makes it happen. So we really appreciate him. And another neat thing that we were able to do with some of our merchandise this year, Muleshoe State sponsored a group of 30 agricultural professionals to receive a Muleshoe cap. So we have people wearing Muleshoe gear all over the state of Texas. I looked back through our little registry book yesterday. I mean, people from California to Australia, China, just all over the place. So that's been something that I'm really excited about, and I'm glad we've had that to offer, and we'll just keep building off of that. As Craig shared, we did have several new events and kind of revamped events last year, and we just really hope that those continue to grow. We would really like to have the best 4th of July parade around, and our chili and ice cream contest. And we would love for people from all over to come be a part of that and for that to really grow. And so also our Shop the Shoe event that we had during Christmas with all of the retailers. We're planning to have a few more of those throughout the year to just really, we've got some great shopping here in Muleshoe, so we'd really like to play that up for those businesses. So with those events, you'll notice in your brochure kind of a rundown of everything, and if there's something that you would like to sponsor or be involved in, look that over, and there's a place where you can kind of let me know what you'd like to be involved in, and we can kind of come up with a sponsorship package and how to contact you. And I'm probably going to contact you anyway, even if you don't want to help. I'm pretty bad about that. So two other things I'd like to kind of touch on is our website and Facebook page. Last year when we had this breakfast, the website was at the very top of our list of what we would like to offer our businesses and chamber members. And we do have that, and it's a really neat page. There's a calendar of events. There's you'll find a description of past events, upcoming events. If you're a chamber business, it links to your business, and I hope it is utilized. And then we also use our Facebook page quite a bit. And that's not only for chamber events. If your business has something happening or you're just wanting to kind of get your name out there, I would love for you to contact me and let us do a little promoting on our Facebook page for you as well. That's kind of my job description, is to promote your business. So give me a call and we will make that happen. And it's a good way to just keep up with what is going on. We kind of keep the calendar full, so you know, you can stay in touch. So speaking of things going on, we have our 2017 Chamber Banquet coming up, and I would like to personally invite each and every one of you to attend. We're really excited about the banquet, and we'll be having that at the high school cafeteria and on into the auditorium. Granddaddy's will be catering a fantastic meal. We were able to kind of taste test, and it's going to be great. And we are especially excited about our keynote speaker, Clint Bruce. So at this time, I would like to show you a little clip of him.
In any endeavor, you can only be 5 things. You can be bad, you can be average, you can be good, you can be excellent, or you can be elite. And I prefer a life that bounces somewhere between excellent and elite. You can measure excellence, you can quantify it, you can reach certain milestones, hit a certain speed, whatever. Elite is this kind of mythical Camelot that is just that next ridgeline. My name is Clint Bruce. I'm an entrepreneur. I have an opportunity to started 2 companies. One, Trident, where we take care of some of the best private sector leaders in America and their companies. Second is 30 and 3, where we provide speakers, combat veterans to the private sector and pro sports teams. And then I've been blessed to be involved in an organization called Carry the Load, who has the mission of making Memorial Day matter again. My story, I like to refer to it as Gumpian. I'm kind of Forrest Gump. I just kind of put my head down and go and look up, and I'm like, oh, I'm at the Naval Academy, and I put my head down. I'm like, oh, I'm married, and she's hot, and I just kind of keep going. So, born in Arkansas, moved down here in Dallas when I was in middle school. Had an opportunity to play at a great high school football program with some incredible coaches. Had an opportunity to play at a lot of different Division I schools. But my senior year, lost my father, and that was obviously one of those pivotal moments where you either use that as a reason to, as an excuse for every failure going forward, or you remember who you said you were going to be when you had a dad, and you march towards that milestone. And so for me, it was very easy. I decided I was going to be who I told my dad I would before I lost him. I've always been about higher things, nobility, virtue. These are the things that I was raised in. These words always meant something to me. And I looked at an institution like a service academy, in particular the Naval Academy, and just saw that, one, it could meet all those intangibles that I wanted to be associated with, and then two, it could advantage me as I looked to be the son I said I'd be, and the brother that I said I'd be. Coming out of the service academy, I was involved in the elite athlete program, where they say, go into your professional sport, make the team, serve 2 years, and we'll let you back out and you can represent. The services is very similar to what David Robinson did. So, and went to the Baltimore Ravens, had an opportunity with that team, but I'd also been selected as a candidate for the SEAL program, which are the only two things I ever wanted to do, be a SEAL or play in the NFL, and there I was, kind of looking at both. And so, having been in the NFL briefly, really looked at focusing hard on the SEAL teams and just kind of committed to that, made it through training, which was exciting. It's pretty challenging. I mean, we lose Olympic athletes all the time in training. We lose professional athletes all the time in training. And if you were to stand up 200 guys that were going through training and pick them based on physicality, you'd be wrong more than half of the time. It's always that farm kid from Iowa who's just used to working 18 hours in a day and doesn't know what cold feels like anymore because he's just feeding the pigs at 4 in the morning and negative 40 degrees, and he has that indomitable kind of we always win mentality, and that's the kid that makes it. Buzz, the entire SEAL selection program is built to push you past failure and see what you do on that. It doesn't matter what you're good at. If you're a great runner, it'll beat you with a cold. If you're a strong guy, it'll beat you with endurance. It'll find what you're not good at, and it'll break you, because we're not interested in unbroken men. We're interested in what you do once you pass that limit. Checked into SEAL Team 5, and the SEAL Team 5, 1999, this is pre-9/11, so the New Orleans Saints called, and I had an opportunity to go work out with the Saints for a little while. But Secretary of the Navy and kind of the powers that be recognized that we were in an interesting season as a nation, and that we would really need the majority of our special operations officers, which I'd become one. And so they said, hey, we need you back. And I said, hey, I'm happy to be back. And that began this great adventure in the SEAL community, where I got to deploy multiple times to both the Pacific and the Middle East and to other locations around the world with these guys that were right out of books and movies, just some of the most epic and heroic men I've ever gotten to be around. And I got to, I don't necessarily say you lead SEALs, you get to aim them, because they're pretty amazing guys. And then I got to be led by some really, really incredible leaders, both in the senior enlisted community and in the officer corps. And then my bride, we got pregnant and had a baby, and I was gone. And I came home, my daughter was 7 months old, and had just kind of done the majority of things I said I wanted to do as a SEAL. So came back home and just kind of put on the daddy hat, which is honestly the greatest job I've ever had. Then got a phone call when Katrina happened, and there's some guys in Dallas that kind of knew about my background, and they asked me to go down to Katrina and rescue some folks, and we were able to do that very quickly and very well because we knew how to do it. And out of that, I had an opportunity to start a company called Trident, which is what I do primarily now. And I have an opportunity to go speak to a lot of organizations and professional teams. And one of the things I tell them all the time is, in any endeavor, you can only be 5 things. You can be bad, you can be average, you can be good, you can be excellent, or you can be elite. And I prefer a life that bounces somewhere between excellent and elite. And the difference between excellent and elite is this. You can measure excellence, you can quantify it, you can reach certain milestones, hit a certain speed, whatever. Elite is this kind of mythical Camelot that is just that next ridge line. And so the question comes, and I get it all the time, is how do you feel about adversity? And I said, well, one, because I'm always trying to go to that next ridge line, I've come to expect it. And I've come to almost acknowledge the absence of adversity as an indicator that I'm not trying hard enough or my goals aren't significant enough. And you always try to balance that tension between expecting adversity and becoming addicted to it. So you don't want to create chaos for chaos's sake, but you come to expect adversity as an indicator that you are pushing yourself and you're pushing people around you. So that's, for me, you know, I appreciate adversity because I recognize it as an indicator that I'm where I said I wanted to be in my goals and objectives. We say this all the time, we always win. And that sounds like an arrogant statement, but let me elaborate on that a little bit. The statement isn't we are always victorious, because we're not always victorious. But when you define winning as either I am victorious or I understand why I lost and I fix those problems and I'll get beat another way a different day, then you always win. So when you broaden your aperture on what a win looks like, you know, you become very dangerous as an individual when you lose your fear of failure. You know, there's this myth, this fallacy that I think largely the world has bought into, that there's this X on a map. And that once we get to the X, everything's going to be great. But that's not true. The X is an end point, and I'm not interested in slowing down. In my life is this. There's no X on a map. There's a bunch of pencil X's that I'd like to go to, but there's a bunch of people I've decided to live life with, and I bounce around on that map towards Jesus until I meet him. And that's it. That's my life. And once I kind of divorced myself of this expectation of perfection and knew that really life's just about saying, hey, I want to be elite, and what does elite look like, and here's what excellence is, and I bounce between the two. And I'm not going to be perfect, but by God, I'm not going to lose. I might get beat. Then life's just living. So my name is Clint Bruce, and I challenge you to venture on.
Anyway, we're really excited to have Clint come and speak, and so we think it'll be a great night. So everybody mark your calendars for March 4th. Tickets for the banquet are on sale now. You can contact me at the chamber office, or you can get in touch with any of our board members. Also, when we mailed out the packets with your membership card and all of that, you should have received a nomination form for the awards for this year, and if not, there's some at the back table back there. We will have Man of the Year, Woman of the Year, Business of the Year, Employee of the Year, Ag Family of the Year, and Youth of the Year are the categories. And if you could please have those forms turned in to me no later than February 10th. That way we can get all the awards taken care of and be on top of that. You also received information about tickets and table sponsorship and all of that. So again, we do have a limited number of tickets and a limited number of tables to reserve. So if you could also get those forms turned in as soon as possible. So anyway, we have a lot to look forward to this year, and we just really appreciate all of the support we've received in 2016, and we've got a lot of momentum going into 2017. And on the back of your little brochure, if you'd like to make any suggestions, please jot those down, and you can leave them at the back table back there. If we like your suggestion, we'll use it. If not, we'll just throw it in the trash. I'm just kidding. That's the only way we can get better, is having your input. So at this time, I would like for all of the 2017 board members to come up, and I'd like to introduce everyone to you guys. Okay, your 2017 president is Steve Friska. Our vice president is Craig Black. Our secretary treasurer, Casey Coker, and she is not with us today. Board member Sarah Santos, board member Basil Nash, and new to the board this year, Chris Phillips and Scott Miller. So we're and we'll move on into the business portion of this.
Tripped up. Yeah, what now we do venture into our business portion. According to our bylaws, we are required to have one large group business meeting annually. So last year when we had this breakfast, Muleshoe Chamber had no members. So we had the idea of having a breakfast so we could assemble some people and maybe get a group. And so that started what looks like to be an annual event. It's turning out really nice because we can have our annual meeting now. And so when we get to the banquet, we can eat all that delicious food. We can double up on the dessert. We can listen to our speaker, and we won't have to have a business meeting at the annual banquet. So this morning will be our regular business meeting, and on your table there should be some copies of the minutes of last year's meeting on your table. If you'll take just a second to look those over, and as soon as you have, we would entertain a motion to accept the minutes of last year's meeting. Motion and second.
I'll make a motion that we accept.
I have a second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Also on your table, you will see a proposed budget for 2017. And I use the word proposed. I give everybody a little latitude. Those numbers aren't just exact how it'll turn out, but it's pretty darn close. So if you'll look that over, and I would entertain a motion to accept the budget in a second.
Make a motion we accept the budget.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. That concludes our business unless someone has some new business. Something that one of you guys would like to put on the floor for discussion. Anything needs to be talked about before we do this again next year. If not, then I just a few little thank yous and we'll be done. We definitely want to thank Granddaddies for all their help. Craig gives a lot to this organization, and especially if you're going to eat. If you're going to eat, Granddaddies comes in real handy. Chris and United, my gosh, they just give and give and give, so we want to thank them. Sarah, lasting impression. If it wasn't for Sarah, every one of our little gatherings, there's a real good chance it could be a little bland. But we even have flowers this morning, so they're always good to help out. This morning, our mayor, he's the first guy here ready to cook this morning, and then Rodney Baker right there beside him. And so we have a lot of good help around here, and so we want to thank everybody. So with all that being said, once again, we just here's what you can do to help us. You know, it doesn't take, you don't have to get a great big group in a pile, but if the little pile will go outside, and the people you're around today tell them, say, hey, you know what, this first year chamber kind of revamping and doing their thing, these people kind of act like they want to do this. Encourage them. That guy right there, when we decided to do this, I'm telling you, we had to go out on the skinny branches to get that guy. Our thinking was, if we can bring somebody to our community that helps leadership step up, and one speech can change a lot, we should get that guy. We should be smarter. And so I just encourage him. I get a little emotional about some of this stuff. But in America, we've kind of decided to just live in the status quo. Muleshoe doesn't do status quo. We go up. And so whatever the price of a ticket is, I guarantee you that guy right there, if you're a person in charge, and you probably are this morning because you're the first one up, that guy might get you from mediocre to excellent or to great or whatever those five, elite. Yeah, we could shoot for elite. So the banquet will be a really good time. But if you guys don't leave here and tell somebody, then the group gets smaller. And so I just want to encourage you with that. With that being said, is there a motion to adjourn and a second?
Make a motion to adjourn.
And a second? And it's seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. God bless y'all and have a good day.